So managers in Atlanta, this is a very kind of debated topic, but for the most part, when I ask industry professionals down here, they say no, you don't need a manager. But a lot of actor friends, it's just, I guess what I'm trying to say, it's just very, do you need a manager overall in Atlanta? No, you don't. But it also depends on where you're at in your career. If you just move from Oklahoma to Atlanta to get started, it doesn't, no. You need to focus on making your connections, on getting into classes down here to start networking, and obviously learn to craft and stuff like that, and build your reel, build your credits, all that stuff. So a manager right now doesn't, in Atlanta, it just doesn't matter if you're just starting out and you're trying to build your resume. Now, I think when it depends, when I say why it depends on what your ultimate goal is. If you just want to be like a working actor in Atlanta, get some credits and just leave it at that, you're good to go. You don't need a manager. And it just financially doesn't make sense because 10% of your bookings, or the money that you're going to get from booking, is going to go to your agent. And then there's another 15% that's going to go to your manager. So that's a total of already 25% of your check that's already gone. And let's say you book like a co-star and it's scale at like $1,000 and something, which it more than likely will be. It just doesn't make sense. And then also, that's not even adding on taxes. And taxes, y'all, in this economy they be a little something, they be out there. So no, it doesn't financially make sense to have a manager when you're first starting out. And a lot of people say, well, I'm not doing it for the money, I'm doing it. Well, I understand where that's coming from, but I say, like, instead of getting a manager and putting that 15% away for them, use that 15% or whatever much you want to use and investing it into, like, your materials, classes, networking, casting director workshops, your wardrobe for auditions, your audition setup. It's just, for me, at least in my personal opinion, when it came to my career, it just didn't make any sense at the beginning to already have 25% of my check from my co-star go away, and then have like another 25% of my check go to the government, and then the rest is like, okay, well, I'm stuck with 50%, and that's probably, like, after taxes and everything, was probably like $400 or $500. I'm being for real. It's a lot of money what they tax you, because it's a lot of money. So anyway, so it doesn't make sense when you're first starting out. But if your ultimate goal is like, I want to have representation in LA and New York, or I ultimately want to become a series regular one day, or I feel like you're kind of, I feel like sometimes actors are kind of like jumping the gun too quick. Work on getting your credits first, getting a good solid, 4 or 5 credits. And then if you're like, okay, I'm ready to branch out into LA and New York, definitely start shopping around for a manager. The way it has been broken down to me, it's like, if you're an Atlanta actor, and unless you've just booked like a big recurring guest star or guest star role, or like a big national commercial, that's when managers will tend to like look at you and consider you, and maybe like look at, give you the time of day. But for the most part, if you're just starting out, it just doesn't make any sense. I say work on building your resume, and then ultimately, once you have your credits and, hopefully you book some, like a recurring guest star or a big commercial, then yes, start branching. If you're wanting to branch out to New York and LA, definitely look into getting a manager. Ask around friends, ask your own agents even. They can sometimes give you referrals. Casting directors can give you referrals. If you do, like, I've done casting directors workshops with some casting directors in LA, and they're like, when you're ready for a manager, here's a list, let us know, but obviously don't like go in with the intention of, just for that, it's all about the connection and networks, but also being genuine, if that makes sense. You have to make sure that you're ready as well. I'm at the point in my career where, yes, I've had a lot of co-stars, a lot of day players. I just, a lot of close calls with a lot of big commercials, recurring guest star, and I'm ready to branch out into the other markets and start networking in the other markets and start making those connections in the other markets. And, I am in the market for a manager, and I'm doing my research and my due diligence so I can figure out what agencies would be the best for me in the other markets. But it's like, you have to be honest with where you're at now. And this is only when it comes to being an Atlanta actor. Because like I said, it's different. Like in LA, New York, I'm not in those markets. I can't speak to those markets. But in Atlanta, if you're asking, do you need a manager to be a working actor here in Atlanta? No, you don't. But if you get to a point where you're like, okay, I'm ready for bigger stuff, or it's getting too much for me, or I'm ready to branch out to the other markets, definitely look into getting a manager. Other than that, I hope this helps, and let me know what you guys think.